My name is Matt Sinsuti, and I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this guy right here, this is Rob the Povia. He is 7 feet tall in his mind, and you can't teach that. And over here, this guy behind the boards, this is Brian the Darkwing Duck Daly. And he can fly, at least in his own mind. And you can't teach that.
Yes, you can.
Bada boom, realest guys in the room. How you doing?
How you doing?
Can I applaud you that you did that 10 times better than I did on FDN a few weeks ago?
Sure, go right ahead. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. I'm Matt Sasuti, Brian Daly, Rob Povia, and today, gentlemen, we are back for the first time in 2 weeks.
Feels like it's been more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, it feels like it's been like a month since we've last done a show. Maybe even a year. I'm favoring the year. I'll go with the year. All right. Today's show brought to you by the Scanzano Sports Center. They are located in 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. And today we are going to dive right on in to not just the Flyers and their non-activity in this year's offseason. We're going to talk about Ron Hextall and why he has not been as active. Obviously, Dale Weise coming to the Philadelphia Flyers. Welcome to Philly, Dale. And, of course, Boyd Gordon as well. Welcome. And as well as we're going to give a bit of a season preview. I know it's a little early, but we're going to do it anyway. I mean, training camp is starting up soon, so we might as well jump the gun a little bit and see how wrong we really are come the end of the season. And, of course, we'll be talking about the free agency, all the big moves that have happened that we have not been able to announce until now. And, of course, what team is winning right now in this offseason? And what new coaches are there? And what new GMs are there? And also, what trade rumors are still rolling around out there for all those who love the trade rumors? That's what it's all about. Yes, of course. Mr. Daly, a big fan. And, of course, the season preview for the entire NHL. How wrong are we going to be? We're going to find out who's going to make the playoffs, who will compete for the Cup, where the Flyers are going to wind up, and where everyone else will, so on and so forth. And like I said, we'll find out how wrong we are come the end of the season. Moving on, we also, at the end of the show, will give you all a little taste of some WWE action. That's right. We are going to preview tonight's WWE Draft.
I don't know about you, but it sounds weird.
What, the WWE Draft?
No, just the fact that we're doing this on a Tuesday.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. You'd think they do it on Raw, but, you know, oh well.
Well, not even just that, just being live.
Well, oh, well, yeah, you know what? That is interesting because they do their shows on Tuesdays, and that's my headset. Anyway, but yeah, they do it on Tuesdays. They used to, of course, record it for anyone who doesn't know that, and then they would air it either on Thursday back in the day or Friday. But now they're going live.
Oh, so they're already used to doing back-to-back shows. We as the public just didn't see it till Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they
gotcha.
would always do it back-to-back. But when they had it separated, it was 2 different crews and 2 different sets of wrestlers. So it really didn't hurt the WWE at that time. So it was all cool back then.
Well, that's what I like to do it back-to-back as well. I don't know what exactly that means, but it sounded funny in my head.
It sounds funny. It sounds like something you do in Sin City. Speaking of which, Las Vegas has officially announced their first ever GM. Welcome to the GM world, George McPhee. And we'll see how long it takes before you get fired. Because you're in charge of an expansion team. Usually, that is not a good thing to be the first GM of. Because expansion teams usually take a little bit before they start making some impact. But, of course, the most recent example, which is a terrible example, is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have actually had success in their early history.
Well, I was just about to say this might be another exception to the rule because the players that are going to be available in this expansion draft, they can put a nice little pretty team together here. You know, Marc-Andre Fleury is one name that's notable that might be absorbed by this Las Vegas franchise.
Possibly.
Which was declared the Knights, but now may not be the Knights. What's the story on that?
Not exactly sure, 100%. Apparently, there's like a copyright infringement on the team name. So It could change. As of right now, they're still the Knights that I know of. I haven't heard either way.
Well,
Okay.
the only Knights team that I know of is Army. Literally, they call themselves the Black Knights.
Maybe that's why.
Did they copyright the name?
The Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I could go. I mean, I don't really know, to be honest.
I don't
It's
even know
just
if you
all
can copyright
speculation
the
at this
name
point.
Knights. I mean, there's only been one team in the history of hockey that's ever had the name Knights.
Oh, and
And that
Boogie
was-
Nights. Oh, no, that's a
and
different
Boogie
thing.
Nights.
Yeah, yeah.
And that would be the Jersey Knights, who played for the very unsuccessful WHA. So, I mean,
Right.
that's a long time ago since that name's been used. So, I don't know. I don't know how someone could have copyrighted that. But anyway, I think it's time we get into the Flyers. And before we do, I'm just going to let you guys know about BMW of Atlantic City, because we are in the BMW of Atlantic City studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And BMW of Atlantic City challenged its sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save right now. Lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive. Just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City. Easy to get 2 minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway. They are online at bmwatlanticcity.com.
.com. I missed that .com, man. I missed you, Maddie. Good to see you, man. It's good to be in studio with you.
.com.
It's been too long. You were off for your birthday last week. How was your birthday, man?
It was good. Had a
Yeah.
nice little dinner with the family, you know. Just celebrated a little bit. Had a little cake, you know. Just relaxed, really, because don't get to relax doing a million things with
Had his-
A2D radio
Had
almost
his,
every day.
had his cake and ice cream like the good little boy that he is.
Yes, yes. I had to sit in the corner, though. I had a timeout, unfortunately. I didn't know it was bad.
It's okay. I'm always in timeout.
That's why you work at your job.
You sitting there and you think of what you've done.
Pretty much. That's
Yeah.
how it works.
Go cook some burgers.
Go
I
get-
don't cook burgers. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Someone moved up in the world.
Go get your shine box.
All right, let's start talking about the Flyers. And let's get started with welcome to Philadelphia, Dale Weise, who has joined the Philadelphia Flyers, one of the newest members, along with Boyd Gordon. What do you think of these moves for Hextall here?
Well, you can't forget about TJ Brennan also.
Oh, well,
'cause
TJ Brennan as well, yes.
TJ Brennan, Morristown native. Believe it's Morristown. Anyway, he signed a deal with the Flyers. I think he's going to fill that role that Evgeny Medvedev left
Right.
behind by going back to KHL. But I like the moves, to be completely honest with you. Dale Weise is a solid bottom six type player. He brings physicality that this team doesn't really need, but he also has the ability to shoot the puck. And I think he can bring a little bit of scoring depth to a team that desperately needs it.
Yeah, and Dale Weise was a big contributing helper in that Chicago Blackhawks team. I mean, we don't hear much about him because you kind of get overshadowed when you're on when you're on the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, you
Right.
got a bunch of guys on that team that can overshadow you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, he's a good character guy. He's great in your locker room, and he's great in getting underneath the skin of the opposing players, a la Scott Hart now.
Yeah.
So the Flyers really haven't had a player like that. I mean, a little bit of Braden Shen, but Braden Shen should be focused on scoring. Let this guy in the bottom six get underneath people's skin, get thrown in the sin bin. I mean, he got underneath Milan Lucic's skin so much in that playoff series, he said he was going to kill him in the handshake line. So I think he's a good fit for Philly.
Yeah, I mean, that of course Milan Lucic's threatening to kill someone. He's a scumbag anyway, so why does it matter?
Yeah, yeah.
That's true. I really like the TJ Brennan signing. I mean, he's been a career AHLer thus far, but he puts up points. He's a good guy at the point on the power play. And I think putting him right into the lineup, letting him play in the NHL, let him get that experience that he needs. I mean, he's not exactly young. I believe he's somewhere around my age, 28, 29, somewhere around there. But he needs the time in the NHL. He's got some experience in the NHL. He's played with the Buffalo Sabres up with them. He's played with the Toronto Maple Leafs up with them. But I think if you bringing him into Philly with the defenseman that you have there, I think he's 27. Okay.
27. Wow.
I was close. So you bring him in and you put him in a lineup that needs a little bit of offensive defenseman. You have Shane Goss to spare, but he brings in another aspect into the power play, I feel.
Well, you need more than one offensive defenseman. You know, like in a lot of ways you do, especially in nowadays in the NHL.
And especially on the power play.
Yeah, a lot of successful teams have had more than one offensive defenseman, especially nowadays. Perfect example would be teams like Blackhawks, teams like the St. Louis Blues, teams like San Jose who have had defensive threatenings. A lot of top offensive defensive talent that have been on really good powerhouse teams, and they've made great runs because of that threat on the power play.
And look no further than this team last year. For a while, the second power play was carrying this team, or at least on the special team side of it. You know, so you have legitimate goal scorers on the blue line that can captain that power play on both the 1 and 2 squad. That's a good recipe. And I mean, I think they sort of already had that in place with Michael Del Zotto, Shane Gostisbehere, Mark Streit, since he's still on the team and not traded as of yet, but that could change.
That could change.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot about Del Zotto. I'll be completely honest with you.
Well, Del Zotto is going to be huge, an important factor to the Flyers' defense moving forward because not only with the fact that he could play with Gostisbehere and be really fast down there because Del Zotto does have speed to his game. I think it could really be a dangerous 1-2 punch, or actually maybe even a 1-2-3 if you can have Dale Weise, Michael Del Zotto, and Shane Gostisbehere all on 3 separate defensive pairings. And then you can have an offensive defenseman in 3 separate situations.
Well, Weise is a winger.
Oh, my bad.
You're thinking of Brennan.
I was thinking of Brennan. My bad. Yeah.
It's contagious
keep
to the
getting
host.
them mixed
It's always
up.
contagious
Yeah.
to the host.
I always keep getting defensemen mixed up with forwards. I don't know why I do that. But anyway. But nonetheless, though, Dale Weise can be a contributing factor to the offense. But like I was saying, though, with the defensive pairings, you do want more than one offensive defense with Michael Del Zotto, and Shane Gostisbehere could be on that addition on the line. TJ Brennan could also bring that along as well. You want that three different attack with a 1-2-3 punch out of nowhere on your back end that a lot of teams may or may not be able to make an adjustment to.
Personally, I would love to see TJ Brennan play with Michael Del Zotto. I think Del Zotto could teach him a lot and could really help him evolve as a player.
Yeah, Del Zotto has plenty of experience to go around. I mean, he's been with the Rangers, with the Predators. He spent most of his time with the New York Rangers. Now here in Philly for 2 seasons. He knows what the system's all about. So I think he could definitely help out.
You forgot a key team that he's been on. Team Lisa Ann. Oh. Tag team. That's a tag team. A little prelude to the WWE talk.
Maybe a little bit of a different kind of tag team, but okay.
Rex and Flex, so let's begin.
Be an interesting form of tagging too, if you had to, swing and tag each other.
In.
Oh my goodness!
At least Ann could handle both members of the tag team.
Oh,
that's a good point.
My God.
She can handle the double team. I'm sure she can. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's most of what her videos say too. Double team, number 9.
Oh,
anyway.
My gentle Jesus, what is going on over
But
here?
moving on. So now to Ron Hextall. What do you think about his position right now here with the Flyers? He hasn't been very active. Besides the few signings that he has made, he's pretty much just been hands-off this offseason, besides re-signing anyone that's necessary. Now, we can agree to disagree on the Rocco Gudis situation, but let's take that and put it away for a little bit. What do you think is – do you agree with Hextall's decisions here? Not going into the trade market, possibly shopping around possibly any players that might fish in a talent or two that could fill in for a couple years before a young guy comes up? Or do you think that he's doing the right thing by just saying, nope, we're not going to do anything this year. We're just going to keep on taking our time?
I mean, I think he's trying to take his time a little bit. Looking at the Flyers' moves, it looks like he's doing a lot of his signings are – aside from Nick Cousins, are signings to help keep the Phantoms where they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you signed Peter Straka back. Jordan Wheel got signed back. They went out and signed a couple guys, Greg Carey, Andy Malili, and Will O'Neill. Like, these, just a lot of minor moves. But, I mean, it's not too late for the Flyers to really trade anybody or make any other signings. There's still plenty of guys out there. Guys like Yuri Hudler, they're still available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a good name.
I wouldn't mind having Yuri Hudler in a Philadelphia Flyers jersey.
I wouldn't mind having him in an Anaheim Ducks uniform. I wouldn't mind having anybody in an Anaheim Ducks uniform right now. You're talking about a team. I know we'll touch base on this, but you want to talk about a team that hasn't done anything.
Well, I mean, only difference is, though, is that the Ducks really kind of have a legitimate excuse, just like we kind of have a really good team right now. We don't necessarily need to worry or panic. Where the Flyers, they're kind of building towards having a really good team. So it's kind of two different stories, tale of two different cities.
Yeah, but you got a couple of restricted free agents you got to get signed here.
Well,
not even doing that.
Well, I mean, maybe they are. Maybe they're calling the agents up at 3:30 in the morning. You know,
Hampus Lindholm needs to get back under contract. Ricard Raquel needs to get back under contract.
Well,
they need to get those done.
You know, maybe they'll sign him back in the last minute. You know?
Shea needs to get back under contract. I don't know who are the other Flyers restricted free agents, because I know he's one. They got Nick Cousins back. They got Jordan Wheel back.
Yeah.
Braden Shen needs to get back under contract, and I feel like there's like a couple more. I know Gudis is back under contract. He was one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say that.
That's a good question, actually. I forget how many
Well, maybe,
restricted
I
free
mean, that's
agents the
probably.
Flyers have.
I mean, like Anaheim, I'm sure that's one of the things that the Flyers are doing right now, especially, with Ron Hextall, is getting the guys that they need to get under contract back under contract.
Yeah, and
before making any other moves.
No, that's it. I think it's just Shen at this point.
All right, well then that's where the main focus is just getting Shen signed back. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else that I think Hextall is really focusing on right now. But I will say this, though. I do actually agree with this approach, and the reason why is because Hextall understands that what was really killing the Flyers in the past was making too much of a splash in the free agency and just absolutely just giving the team a facelift that didn't necessarily need a facelift. We saw that happen time and time again. Players like Mike Richards, Jeff Carter, they all went away, and that really killed our team at the end of the day. And then you also lose players like Scott Hartnell, albeit that was a decision mostly based on cap. That was not necessarily a decision based on loyalty factor. But all of these decisions of giving team new players, Chris Pronger coming to the Flyers, and Mike Knuble leaving. There was a lot of players coming in and out, a lot of big-name players. But Hextall doesn't want to do that anymore. He wants to get away from that. He wants to get away from the mistakes of the past. He wants to take it slow and understand what we have. And I appreciate that. He's not jumping the gun. And so many GMs are guilty of jumping the gun. It's not just the Flyers GMs. Plenty of GMs have bid on a player that didn't work out for them at the end of the day. It's always happened in all the history of the sports. I think Hextall understands that there's just too much of an abundance of that in Flyers history, and he's just trying to take the smarter approach right now.
I don't disagree with that, because you got the Flyers that always, they went out, they got Peter Forsberg one year, they got Darren Hatcher the same year, they got
Rathje.
Mike Rathje, they got a bunch of players, but to step back and say, okay, let's think about this here, let's be sensible, let's do what's going to make good for the team, not just to bring a big name in here. I commend him for that. I really do. But at the same time, there's I'm sure there's moves to be made here. And I know you still want to do, you still got Travis Konechny and Ivan Provorov and those guys too, but you got to bring in some veteran leadership. You can't just have the team be a young team.
Well, that's what kills Edmonton a lot of times. Yeah. The lack of veteran leadership really does not help them at all. You can't just have all the young prospects. But the thing is, though, is that what really kills me, that we do have veteran leadership. You do have Claude Giroux, Jake Voracek. You do have guys like them on the team. And even Wayne Simmons can be looked at as a veteran. Young, but he can still be looked at as a veteran because he's been in the NHL most of his career. So you could take a look at them as kind of like the guys that could kind of be the mentors a little bit. Michael Del Zotto for the defense as well. These guys can mentor the younger guys coming up. It's a little different in Edmonton. Edmonton, they had nobody. Mm-hmm. So, it was just that bad. But what do you think, Rob? Do you agree with Hextall's decision to not be so active?
I don't really think you can create an argument to disagree with him because he's limited.
Yeah.
He's limited in what he can do until he gets some of these contracts off the books. I mean, maybe he could be a little more aggressive with trading Mark Streit, maybe not being so nitpicky in what you need back for it. I think it's not so much what he needs back for, but how much the other team is willing to take on salary-wise. I think he's trying to shed maybe a little too much, kind of meet him halfway and get the job done. I think I don't agree with him continually not getting the Braden Shen deal done. I think you really need to meet a middle ground there as well, because I compare Braden Shen to Riley Smith from Florida, Gustav Nyquist from Detroit. Players like that, maybe even Kyle Palmieri in New Jersey. I put him on that level. So go ahead, offer the guy $4.5 to $5.2 million a year, whether that looks like 3 years, 4 years, nothing more than that, though. Nothing more than that. And I say that gets the job done. I think that would be fair for Shen. That would be fair for the Flyers.
I would go a little bit lower than 4.5. I would go like 3.5, 4. Say, okay, prove yourself, and maybe we'll talk about more come the next contract.
Yeah, he does have a lot to prove. You are correct.
He does. I mean, he had a great year. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a raise. Give him a raise, but don't give him too much of a raise because you don't want it to all go to his head because you don't know what Braden Shen you're going to get next year.
No, it's true, and there are dangers of appeasing a player, and especially appeasing an ego. You know, you don't really want to get him into that habit. Next thing you know, he's expecting to get a raise even if he doesn't perform.
But here's the key thing, though. He's trending upward right now in terms of his goal-scoring
Agreed.
ability. And,
Agreed.
And I think if you could lock him in now, I think his value will exceed even that $4.5 million a year value, and I think it would be a steal in the end of who Braden Shen can be in this league.
Absolutely. And now I just want to say this before we head to break. There was an article that showed, is Hextall taking the wrong approach? Now, listen, I understand people like to write things to get a little bit of buzz out there, but listen, if anyone's doubting Hextall and his decision-making, that is the dumbest thing you can do right now. Because here's the truth. This is the most brilliant decision a GM has made since the Flyers pretty much have been invented. Don't make a big splash because that's not necessarily going to get you a guaranteed Stanley Cup. We were so focused on winning now that we kept forgetting that maybe we should also build for our future, you know? And we ran into that problem. 2007, we had nothing. And we wound up being the dead last in the league for that reason. But one last thing I also want to say, I also feel like Flyers fans are feeling a little bit of that withdrawal. They're used to a big splash in the offseason. They're used to the Flyers being extremely active. I'm going to say this right now. It's always the first couple of years that are the tough ones. You got to get off the feed. Get off the schneid a little bit and understand that, listen, this isn't going to be a year where we're going to make a big splash, and there's a reason for it. So don't go crazy. Relax. Stay calm. It's all going to take care of itself. Remember, we made the playoffs. We struggled, but we made the playoffs. So it's not a bad thing. Calm down. Having this team is not the worst thing in the world. You could be the Oilers. Anyway, moving on. When we come back, we'll go into Around the League, and we will get into the trade rumors as well as what teams winning this year, coaches and GMs, and, of course, the big deals, the PK Subbans, the Shea Webbers, the Jamie Benns, and all that good stuff when we come back, and we will see you on the other side. But first, this segment is brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountants located at 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, PA. You can give them a call, 215-369-3300. We will see you guys after the break. We are the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Hi, this is Matt Sudi of the Hockey Happy Hour. And if I want a night out in the town but I don't want to miss the Flyers, there's only one place I'm going to, the Philly Sports Bar. Located in 31 South Black Horse Pike in Runnymede, New Jersey, it has over 40 plasma and HD TVs with a brick oven and a 2-story deck. This sports bar has truly surpassed everyone's expectations. For the one-of-a-kind sports memorabilia to the life-size sports figures, this bar stays true to its name. The Philly Sports Bar also provides a quality service along with an outstanding variety of the finest liquors and well-known beers with a family-friendly environment for everyone, while remaining true to what they are, the best darn sports bar. So check out the Philly Sports Bar. You can give them a call at 856-939-4322, send them an email at info@phillysportsbar.com, or check out their website at www.phillysportsbar.com. That's the Philly Sports Bar in Runnymede, New Jersey.
Hey guys, this is Brian Daly of the Hockey Happy Hour. You have any big celebrations coming up like a birthday or a graduation party and you don't want to cook for everybody that's invited? Call Obi's Catering. You can contact Chris O'Brien at 856-534-8410 or you can email him at cateringbyObi@yahoo.com. Also like them on Facebook at Catering by Obi's. Tell them that Tom Arnone or the boys from A2D Radio sent you and you can get 20% off. It's Obi's Catering, changing the world one dish at a time.
Hell yeah, welcome back to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And that last segment, as well as this segment, brought to you by Liberty Event Rentals. They are located at 2154 East Cambria Street in Philadelphia, PA. You can give them a call, 267-314-7368. You can find them on the internet at www.libertyeventrentals.com. And they have tents, chairs, tables, and linens. They deliver, and they set it up, but you got to throw your own garbage away. Thought you were getting the full service. No, you're not. But that last segment, we talked about the Flyers mostly, obviously, and we talked about how Ron Hextall has not been very active in the free agent market as well as the trading market, and Dale Weise coming to the Flyers along with the other signings that the Flyers have made. But now it's time we take a pause on that, and we'll come back to that later. And now it's time to look in the broader spectrum. But before we do that, I do believe it is time we go to a station identification. You are listening to the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com.
You're listening to A2D Radio, A2D Radio, A2D Radio at A2DRadio.com.
All right, folks. Now, to the broad spectrum. What do you guys think so far has been the biggest signing in this postseason as of right now? Is it Steven Stamkos? Is it the trade with Subban and Weber? Is it Jamie Benn coming back, Nathan McKinnon? Or is it the Derick Brassard trade? What is the big move right now that's really sticking out to you guys right now?
To me, it's Nate McKinnon. I think he's one of the fabulous young players in this league. I think the Avs holding on to him is a big move because they had a down year last year. And so did McKinnon, too. And they may have thought, okay, well, maybe we start to doubt on what we were structured 2 years ago and to stick to the plan. What was the thing for Sam Hinkie? Trust the process? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
To that degree, I think it showed that. And, they rewarded the man very well. Very well indeed. So I'd have to say that. I mean, it's tough to pick him over the Stamkos signing because he was the sought-after guy, and the Lightning signed him. But I mean, given Nate McKinnon a 7-year contract, locking him up like that, he still had 21 goals and 31 assists last year. That's not a bad season.
I mean, I look at it this way though. Colorado, did they have a down year? They did. They didn't make the playoffs, but they really didn't miss it by that much when you look at it. I mean, they weren't as drastically. I mean, in the West, there was a massive drop-off after Colorado and Nashville. Like, after those two teams, you literally saw nobody was competing with them. Colorado was the only team that was competing with Nashville for that final wild card spot. It literally was. There was no difference. To me, did Colorado miss the playoffs for the second straight year? They did. But they didn't have as bad of a year as they did the year before that. I mean, Colorado, they've been a weird roller coaster team. They've made the playoffs, they've missed the playoffs. They've made the playoffs, they've missed the playoffs. I don't know if it's necessarily the team structure that's killing them. It might be, and this is just a theory, it might be head coaching decisions.
Yeah.
I think maybe it might be a little bit of Patrick Waugh that's kind of hurting the team just a wee bit.
Well, just to clarify your question, are you saying what was the biggest signing or the biggest activity that's gone down during free agency? Because I will change my answer.
No, the biggest thing. The biggest thing that stuck out to you.
It's got to be the PK Subban for Shea Weber trade. I mean, that sent shockwaves through the NHL. That was huge. It's like Donald Trump would say, huge. And I mean, and it solved two problems. PK Subban was not happy in Montreal, star defenseman. Shea Weber was not happy in Nashville, star defenseman. Trading places, a la Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy.
I love that movie. That was a great movie. But,
Look at good, Lewis.
I love that movie. I don't know. I'd have to say Mikhail Bodker going to San Jose. Although I'm in a bind here because I think the Kyle Poso going to Buffalo was a good move too.
Oh yeah.
But
I wish the Flyers had gotten him. That's the one thing I doubt. I was like, why didn't you make? I mean, I guess they got Dale Weiss instead of Oposo, but I would have gotten him.
Well, I mean, the only difference between Oposo and Weiss is Oposo is a playmaker.
Right.
He can score.
Right.
And he's not more known for his physical willingness to really drop the gloves. But jumping back to Bodker might be that one player that San Jose was missing in that Stanley Cup final. Bodker's fast. He can score. He's more known as a setup guy, but he might have been that one piece that San Jose was missing.
Possibly. I mean, that is a big move for San Jose to go get him. And San Jose is really what they're trying to do is they're gearing up. They know that they've got something good. They made the Stanley Cup Finals last year. They just didn't have enough to get through Pittsburgh, but then again, nobody did last year. So what do? You go right to the free agency. You go right to the trade market. You say, okay, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can make this team just that much better. And you know what? Quite frankly, I think San Jose so far has done that. So not a real argument coming from me on that move. But to quote what you were saying, Rob, obviously the big move that does stick out is the PK Subban Shea Weber deal. And in my opinion, it's an interesting move because you're trading D-man for D-man. You're trading what should have been leader for leader. You got Shea Weber, who was basically the leader in Nashville for the defense, one of the big players in Nashville, and now he goes to Montreal. And that's actually great news for Montreal because PK Subban, in a lot of ways, was starting to become a cancer out there.
Right.
And you don't want a cancer in the locker room. Now, the real question is, will that become a problem for Nashville? That's the big question that Nashville's got to ask themselves. Can they handle PK Subban and his issues, quote unquote? Apparently, he divided the locker room from what Brian was telling me in Montreal. Can PK do that in Nashville is the question.
Did you say D-man for D-man or D-bag for D-bag? Because I think both would apply.
I was just about to say that. they'll both work.
I'm not saying that that's not true on Shea Weber's part, but I am saying, though, when you look at it from the ice perspective, though, you always saw that he was able to really be that leadership player out there. PK had his problems out there on the ice. He'd get thrown in the box a little too often at times, and he wasn't afraid to throw a fist or two. Just like, okay, when you're trying to harp on a guy who's constantly getting thrown into the box and getting himself in trouble, yeah, I could see where there'd be some issues.
Yeah.
I could see where there'd be a few
Little bit.
problems here or there.
I mean, I'm with you. And what I heard about PK being a cancer in the locker room wasn't necessarily from like any news source or anything like that. It was from Montreal captain Max Pacioretty. Apparently, he had taken almost the entire locker room and turned them against PK. So there must have been something going on in that locker room. And apparently got up to the front office of Montreal. Montreal heard about it, and they traded him.
Did he pull Jeff Carter and sleep with somebody's wife?
It's quite possible.
Yeah, you know what?
Maybe it was Pacioretty's wife.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he doesn't like him.
Breaking news, A2D Radio.
PK, the adulterer.
Get all your speculation here.
PK committed adultery with the wife of Max Pacioretty.
And all that being said, the only problem that I had with Shea Weber was that he didn't sign with the Flyers when he had an opportunity. I mean, otherwise, I think he's a pretty upstanding guy. Maybe he wasn't happy in Nashville, but I don't think Weber. I didn't want to, because I phrased it like that way. I didn't want to say that he was a cancer in that locker room. I didn't want to give that implication. I think he's a good quality player that the Montreal Canadiens are getting here.
Absolutely, he's a big physical presence. He's not going to give you those little cheap shots that PK gives you. He's going to come in. He's going to lay you out. He's going to set up on the power play or set up on offense, and he's just going to fire that 100 and some odd mile an hour slap shot he's got.
And now here's the one thing that Montreal really can benefit from. Without PK being a distraction, they could very easily reestablish themselves because they need to do that this year. They totally bombed out of this season. No excuses. The worst kind of season they could have possibly had. No excuse about not having a captain, which is BS. Not having a goalie, also BS, because if you're a good enough team, you could still make it work. And you know what? Now it's time. You got Shea Weber. PK's gone. Carey Price is going to be healthy. You have no excuses now. You either make the playoffs this year, or then you have to start talking about, okay, where did we screw up here? Mm-hmm. What did we do wrong? Because you know what? Then you got to look in the mirror. You can't go blaming everybody else.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't think they had an excuse last year.
They don't.
You lost Carey Price. But at the same time, Carey Price isn't scoring goals for you.
No, and I agree. No excuse. I'm not giving excuses to Montreal, but I'm thinking the front office may use it as an excuse in the future. Like, oh, well, PK was the problem, or this was a problem. Like, you know what? Go ahead, say it all you want. We know the truth. We know you're full of crap. But you know what? You go ahead and tell yourself whatever it needs to make you feel a little bit better at night, knowing the fact you bombed the season.
I mean, you start off 9-0. You're one of the hottest teams in hockey. You're coming off one of the best seasons you've had in Lord knows how long.
Yeah.
And you lose your goalie. Yeah, he's a key part into your success.
He's not everything, though.
Right. He doesn't score your goals. He doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
He's not your leading power play scorer.
And Tokarski is not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination.
We'll take him.
Yeah, Tokarski is actually a pretty darn good goalie at the end of the day. He can hold the fort down. So it's not like you were playing with like Peter Budaj for an entire season like you would have been like 3 years back.
Well, now he's I believe he's a starter in Anaheim's AHL affiliate now, San Diego.
Well, good for him. But still, I mean, it's not like you're playing with Peter Budaj now, so you have no excuse. This should already be solved, Like, work with Tokarski, make it happen. You still have a good team. You still have a good offense. And you still have a solid defense. I don't see what the problem is, Like, seriously.
I mean, obviously, it was the team let up. They seemed like they gave up, and
they did. They absolutely did. And you know what? Like I said, you don't establish yourself this year as a good dominant franchise like you're supposed to be, then you got to really look in the mirror and you got to say to yourself, you know what? There's something wrong within the inner works of this organization. Something needs to be gutted real fast if Montreal has another bad season. Mm-hmm. And especially 2 straight with a team that's that good, no excuse at all. All right. So PK Subban, Shea Weber deal. It's going to be interesting to see how Nashville comes off of this one. The real question is, like I said, can they make sure that if this is true, what Max Pacioretty's saying, will they be able to avoid the problems that Montreal had in Nashville? Because that may wind up giving Nashville a bit of a problem.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
We don't know 100% for sure, though. But on to another deal that was made, the Derick Brassard trade.
Yes.
Big move. Big move that the Rangers pulled.
I love this move for the Rangers. You get a versatile player like Mika Zibanejad, and he's gonna help this offense get going in a way that I don't think they could last year. I mean, Derick Brassard, yes, he's a great player. He's a 20-plus goal scorer. Zibanejad hasn't quite hit that level yet, but Zibanejad is younger.
Yeah.
He's a bit quicker. He's a little bit more of a playmaker than I think Brassard was, I feel like. But I don't know. I think Zibanejad's going to have, in the trade, I think he's going to have the better year.
Yeah, and Brassard was starting to be a problem there in New York. And let's not forget, too, that they give their 7th-round pick in 2018, the Rangers, that is, and they get the 2nd-round pick from the Senators in 2018. So you get a younger player and the ability to draft higher 2nd-round talent over 7th-round talent. I'll take that 8 days a week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what the Rangers were doing, they're playing it smart. They're getting younger offensively, but at the same time, they are looking for a kickstarter because, and Brian's absolutely right, one thing that was killing New York last year was their lack of getting that kickstart to their offense. And the weird part is they have a very scary, fast, potent offense if it can get going. I mean, I have nightmares of 3 years back when the Flyers had to face them in the playoffs because they were just so damn fast and they were impossible to stop and impossible to predict for that matter. That's the kind of team that I'm used to from the Rangers. Yet this year they took a real bad step back. They really did. The playoffs are the perfect prime example. They lost in 5 to the Penguins. That series should have probably gone 7.
And that offense was pretty much nowhere to be found, and hopefully bringing in a guy like Zibanejad can help spark it. Because like I said, he's a young guy. He's a fast player. He can play the wing, and he can play center. I'm all for this for the Rangers. If I'm a Rangers fan, I'm excited about this deal.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'd be excited about it too if I was in the red, white, and blue. You know, absolutely. The Rangers, I've got a big time, young, solid player from the Ottawa Senators. For the Senators, though, this is a good move for them as well because they are a younger team getting Derick Brassard. I don't think it's a bad move for them at all. The Ottawa Senators need something to get their offense going too because last year they too wound up just taking a bad wheel and just falling apart at the end of the day, like most of the Canadian teams last year, if not all of them. It was all of them.
What did you say last night, Brian? This is a total win-win trade?
I think it's a win-win. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's a win-win trade, but, you know, somebody's going to have a better season than the other.
Well, obviously.
And if you're, obviously, you know, Ottawa's got a good players on the team. You got Bobby Ryan, Kyle Turris, Mark Stone. But I think the Rangers have the better team.
Right.
And I think that Zibanejad's going to wind up on a line that's going to be a little bit more productive than Brassard, who's only really going to have Bobby Ryan on his line.
And I say not obviously, Matt, because now that they change places, it can raise the level of a player's game being in a new setting, playing with different players, and they both could have very comparable seasons. You know, whether it's a discrepancy between 22 goals and 18 goals here and there. You know, I see it being a good fit for both.
Both of them, I really think that both of them are going to wind up having 50 points each, at least.
Well, now the real question is Ottawa going to be able to compete for a wild card spot? And the biggest thing that they've been having problems with, not only has it been their offense, but it's been goaltending that's been kind of becoming an issue. The Hamburglar disappeared last year and kind of didn't really do a whole lot for Ottawa. It didn't wind up going all that well for them. The real question is, can Ottawa rebound after having a tough season where they wound up missing the playoffs again? I think we could very well see Ottawa competing this coming season for a wild card spot with the help of Derick Brassard and a more loaded offense than last year. So I think it could wind up becoming a real big good move for them. Not only that veteran leadership for younger players to go along with it. I think that could also help out their younger talent.
No, I agree. Like I said, like I was telling Rob, and I just admitted, it's a good 50-50 trade. It's going to benefit both teams.
Yeah,
it's a good deal.
It's going to be interesting to see where that puts Ottawa in the standings. We already know where the Rangers are going to end up. The Rangers are most likely going to be in the playoffs. There's no debating that at all. The real question is what's going to happen with Ottawa with this deal. Now, real fast, because I know we're running up against it, let's talk about the Jamie Benn deal coming back to Dallas. Big move for Dallas because they want to keep that offense together. That is the bread and butter of the Dallas Stars. They cannot afford to lose any piece of that offensive attack.
Yeah, and I mean they inked them to 8 years, $76 million, very close to both the Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews contracts.
Same with Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlaf. They both had 8 years, $80 million.
Right, exactly. And the only question I have about this is that Jamie Benn is expected to need 6 weeks to recover from surgery. And, his World Cup status is unknown. Maybe it's minor, it's not going to affect the season or whatnot, but you're making a long-term commitment to a guy before he goes underneath the knife. That makes me a little wary, but it sounds like this is more of elective surgery than anything else, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But, yeah, like you said, bread and butter, their captain, keeping him in place. I think, what was it, Toews and Kane guy –
I think it's like 88 mil.
I think it was 88 mil, like his number, right?
Yeah.
And but what stood out to me was the years, 8 years, $76 million. I think it's a great signing for the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, the Dallas Stars really taking care of themselves, not worry too much about what everyone else is doing, focus on what their wheelhouse needs, which is important. That's exactly what Dallas needs to do because Dallas is in a good spot. They're in a perfectly good spot. They don't need to really change a whole lot. Besides a few defensive situations here or there, they're pretty much in a good spot. And their goaltending situation, that needs to be addressed 1,000%. No more Anthony Niemi because he's absolutely killing your team. Anyway.
They just signed somebody. I think they signed James Reimer.
Which is fine. Go with James Reimer.
I think that's
Go
where
with
he
James Reimer.
But, yeah, I mean, the signing for the signing for Dallas, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's the face. He's your captain. He's the face of your franchise. In my opinion, you got him at a discounted price with $76 million. I think he's worth more than that. He's going to be at the top of the scoring charts for years to come.
Well, I mean, look back when we were playing that game where we got rid of the salary cap. Who would I go to get for the Flyers? I go get Jamie Benn in a heartbeat, because you could just throw money at him because he's worth it all.
No, I agree completely. His numbers prove it. He's a good leader. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. And now, real fast before we get to break, we'll talk about the Steven Stamkos trade on the other, or the Steven Stamkos re-signing on the other side. But before that, Matthew Tkachuk officially signing. And what do you guys, how's that feeling? You guys excited for that?
We'll see. I mean, a lot of the times players aren't as good as their fathers were in the league. So, I mean, time will tell with this one. I haven't gotten a real chance to see what he can do.
I have, being the 6th pick in the NHL draft, I think he has an opportunity to be better than Keith.
Really?
I really do. Yeah, I really do. And the Flames did well in picking him and signing him to that 3-year entry-level contract.
Okay.
Who knows? He might actually hit the 500 club for the American players. Not only that, he might outdo his dad in that mark as well. He might get more goals than his dad did. That's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be an interesting family dinner. Hey, Dad, don't I have more goals than you? But wait.
Hey, Dad. Did you watch that game last night?
Yeah.
Bet you wish you could do what I just did.
Anything
Dad.
you could do, I can do better.
Right.
Hey, Dad, where's your Stanley Cup?
Now that's something I would not bring up at the dinner table.
Low down. I love it.
Seriously.
Poor Keith Tkachuk. Never did get his ring. Anyway, moving on. When we come back, it's time to talk about the one everyone's been wanting to talk about, Steven Stamkos and the Tampa Bay Lightning signing him back. We'll get to that on the other side. This was brought to you by Obie's Catering, changing the world one dish at a time. Contact Chris O'Brien at 856-534-8410. You can Facebook him at Catering by Obie or tell him that Tom and Owen sent you and you get 20% off of your order. You can email him at cateringobie@yahoo.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com. We'll see you after this.
Hey guys, Rob Hovia here from Fantasy Dominance Now in the Hockey Happy Hour with a quick question. Are you in need of a professional home improvement? Then contact Harry's Contracting, 609-638-6336. That's 609-638-6336. No job too big, no job too small. The owner, Harry Ernst, is a fully licensed general contractor. Tile work, bathroom and kitchen remodeling, and just about everything else. No matter what you need, Harry will leave your home looking as beautiful as ever. Harry's Contracting offers free estimates, and if you mention A2D Radio during the estimate, Harry will give you 15% off the quote. Give him the job, tack on another 5% for a total of 20% savings off his already insane low prices. So contact Harry's Contracting today, 609-638-6336, or email Harry's Contracting Improvements at gmail.com. Harry's Contracting, insane home improvements.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet, located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. With over 40 years of customer experience giving the latest in uniforms and equipment to sports enthusiasts of baseball, softball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or send them an email at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit their website at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all of your sporting needs.
This is Tom Arnone, owner and operator of A2DRadio.com and host of Agree to Disagree. If I want to go check out a ball game, there's no better place than the Philly Sports Bar located 31 South Black Horse Pike in Runnymede, New Jersey. With over 40 plasma and HD TVs, a brick oven, a two-story deck, the Sports Bar has surpassed everyone's expectations. From the one-of-a-kind sports memorabilia to life-size sports figures, the bar stays true to its name. The Philly Sports Bar will provide quality service along with outstanding variety of the finest liquors and well-known beers in a family-friendly environment while remaining true to what they are, the best darn sports bar. That's the Philly Sports Bar, located in Runnymede, New Jersey.
What's up? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. This next segment is brought to you by the Philly Sports Bar, located at 31 South Black Horse Pike in Runnymede, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-4322. Email them at info@phillydiner.com or visit them on the web at www.phillydiner.com.
Want a little shout out here from one Ryan Brodo listening to today's Hockey Happy Hour. During the intro, we heard that we'd be doing a little WWE talk, and he goes, "Oh my God!" We have to get him on the program later.
Got to do it like the Joey Styles. Oh my God!
Right. Well, I mean, I think it'd be key and paramount to get this guy. Not that we don't know what we're talking about when it comes to WWE, but he actually tweeted out a text that he sent to one Mike Mataraki at 10:38 p.m., which was before the last match in Raw last night, saying, "I know exactly what will happen here. They pin each other at the same time. They both say I'm champ. Battleground does an early 2000s WrestleMania thing with Angle, Benoit, Jericho. Pinfall 1 is for the WWE Championship. Pinfall 2 is for the World Heavyweight Championship, and that's why each GM team was out there during Raw last night." Make sense? He's like Nostradamus of the WWE.
I think he's writing for the WWE. I think that's how he knew that.
Yeah, that's what his secret job is.
Has to be.
Come on, man. How do you know that?
You know, he always says
You got to be right.
See, he says he has a job, but he's never described what it is. So
He's
I
a
bet
writer for the WWE.
Yeah, he's a writer for the WWE.
I figured it out.
Damn it, Brodo. Why didn't you tell us these things? We have so many storyline ideas, and you never listen. Come on, man.
Get us tickets.
You had one job.
Not even just get us tickets. Yo, can you get me a job?
Yeah.
Mainly working with Paige and Becky.
Yeah, buddy.
I'll take Sasha. Thank you very much.
You can have Sasha.
I know.
She's closer to your age anyway.
Awesome. Cool.
Well, so's Paige. Paige is only like 23.
Yeah, Paige is around.
Sasha
that. Yeah,
is
she's
24.
Oh, that works. That works just fine. What about you, Rob? What diva you want to work with?
I like Becky Lynch, man. She's fiery.
Nope, she's mine.
She's yours?
Nope, she's mine.
All right.
All right. No, we're going to have a
I'll
good
go for the other one. Then. I'll go for Paige then.
Nope, she's mine too.
She's yours too?
No. We're going to have a good, clean fight. The rule is there are no rules. Now have
No.
fun.
Correction. No. It's not a wrestler. Lana.
Okay, you can have Lana.
Oh, she's
Lana.
smoking.
Did you say Lana?
Lana.
Lana!
What?
Danger Zone?
I kind of missed that. The playoffs.
It'll be back.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it will be here before you know it.
We still got like another year to wait.
Yeah, pretty much. But speaking of another year to wait, Steven Stamkos has finally signed back with the Tampa Bay Lightning. It took him almost a year to come to this decision, but yes, he has officially signed back with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Also, Alex Killorn is once again in the Tampa Bay Lightning's jersey, and Victor Hedman has also been re-signed
About
as
to
well.
say, don't forget about Hedman.
No, absolutely. I got all three of them right here. I got the Three Stooges right here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're
but
good to
those
go.
Three Stooges, they're amazing players.
No, they are. They truly, truly are. And you know what? I'll tell you right now, the Lightning would have been stupid not to try and sign back Stamkos. And obviously they need Victor Hedman to be the backup. And obviously Alex Killorn, definitely a huge player for them, special teams-wise.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He was crucial in their little postseason run.
Absolutely.
And he got a contract that I think is synonymous with what Braden Shen should be owed. I mean, maybe not quite 7 years because we're trying to avoid those longer contracts, but $4.45 million. I think that's a great price for Killorn. I think that would be a great price for Braden Shen.
Nice.
I mean, I'm still skeptical because I've seen Braden Shen in the past. He's had one. Like I said last year, I give him all the credit in the world. Great year for him, but Killorn has proven himself to be that valued to the team.
Yeah, no, it's.
And I just want to see a little bit more from Shen. If he continues to go up, I will absolutely agree and say he deserves it. But as of right now, I just want to see where Shen's next step is going to be. Like I said, Killorn, he's earned his money. Stamkos has earned his money. Hedman has earned his money. I just want to see more from Shen.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, with the way that Tampa Bay has put themselves in this position, now the real question is they've got all the re-signings that they need out of the way. I'm really starting to worry because you know what? This might mean Tampa Bay could win a Stanley Cup very soon. And I really don't want to see Tampa with two. It's bad enough they got one. Really? Hockey is slowly dying a painful death. Do we really want to see him? The only way it could die outright is if the Phoenix Coyotes somehow won the Stanley Cup. If they won the Stanley Cup, I don't know what to do then. I don't even know if I should be a hockey fan after that. Like, that's just terrible.
They got to the Western Conference Finals a few years ago. Does
Yeah,
that
and
count
then-
for anything?
Yeah, and they lost to the better team. So, you know.
Fair enough.
But, I mean, this is scary. I mean, if you're in the Eastern Conference right now and you're getting ready to go for a playoff run, beware. Beware if you have to see that lightning bolt in your schedule because it is not going to be fun having to face them.
No, they're a tough team, and they're still talking about trading Ben Bishop so Vasilevsky can take over the reins there.
Ooh, not a bad one because Vasilevsky's good too.
He is good.
He's
He's
really good.
He's shown his worth. As far as the team goes, especially in the postseason.
He came in and he did a really good job. I mean, albeit, you know, Tampa Bay did eventually lose because they had Vasilevsky in that compared to Matt Murray, who was just a little bit better than he was. But still, if there had been a lesser team facing Tampa Bay in the Eastern Conference Finals, Tampa Bay would have been in the Stanley Cup Finals versus San Jose.
Agreed.
You know, that's just how good they were doing. So moving forward, we're going to get ready for a season preview. But before we do that, it is time that we take a quick break for station identification. You are listening to the Hockey Happy Hour here on A2DRadio.com.
You're listening to A2D Radio. A2D Radio. A2D Radio. At A2DRadio.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Season preview time. It's time to talk about where we think everyone's going to end up, and we'll see how wrong we are come the end of the regular season.
Oh, boy.
And it's
I don't know about you guys. I'm going to be right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
You always doubt me.
If loving hockey's wrong,
That's
I
good
don't want
because
to
that
be
makes
right.
you win. That motivates you to be right.
I'm with you on that one, Rob.
No, but you always got to doubt people. Why? Because it motivates you. Motivates you to be right. That's why. You willpower it to happen.
Whatever.
You have potential. You have potential. That's my nose growing. Can't wait till we get back on video, man. Doing physical comedy again.
I love physical comedy.
Yes.
But let's get ready to go through our league standings here, and let's get ready to see where everyone's going to wind up. Obviously, why don't we start it off in the let's go to the Western Conference to kick it off with. And why don't we go to the top team in the West? Let's go to Anaheim.
Oh, they're the top team in the West? Because I can think of a couple other teams that are ranked higher, but let's talk alphabetical order. They're at the top.
Will Anaheim be the cream of the crop this year in the West?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. Most of the moves that Anaheim has made so far this offseason, aside from trading Frederick Anderson and acquiring Jonathan Bernier, they've been making minor league AHL moves. They signed Mason Raymond. They signed Jared Boll, who might be a fourth-line winger. They signed – who else did they sign? Nate Gannon, who's obviously going to be another minor league move. Like, he's been with the organization before under Randy Carlisle.
Right.
And he didn't do anything. So all the moves they're making right now are AHL moves. You got Ricard Raquel, who needs to get back under contract, and you have Hampus Lindholm, who needs to get back under contract. Bob Murray needs to focus on this NHL roster right now more than anything else. But I don't see Anaheim not being a bad team, but I think they're going to be another first round and out team next year.
Wow.
Okay. That is not what I expected.
But that's
I'm
that's
being
journalistic
real.
integrity, yeah, man. Just because it's your team doesn't mean you're gonna, be all peaches and cream for them like most Flyers fans are.
A2D Radio, home of real talk, and I'm giving you real talk.
That
That's
is
right.
true.
That's right.
That's right.
That's for you, Tom, if you're listening.
Apparently, there's a Real Talk Invitational golf tournament that's happening on Saturday. So you know what? Perfect contestant.
Well, November 4th, but
November 4th.
Oh,
Sorry,
November 4th?
I apologize.
I'm in.
I'm jumping the gun here.
that's gonna be awesome.
But anyway,
gonna be
all
fun.
right,
I hope it's
moving
indoors.
forward. Well, it's golf. I don't know.
It's at a heated driving range.
No, it's going to be in the Scanzano. It's going to be in the Scanzano Sports Center. That's
There you
where it's
go.
going to be.
Located at 5 Carnegie Plaza, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Check them out online, scanzanosports.com.
Remember, they have a
Nice
giant
plug.
square foot hitting facility. So, yeah, it's perfect. It's set up all the golf course. We could do it like mini golf style, too. Just have a giant Tom head instead of a giant clown head that laughs at you every time you can't hit a hole in one.
Right.
Anyway, moving forward.
Right.
All right. So, two from Anaheim. I'm going to say that they will make the playoffs. I actually think they'll make it to the semis, and I think they'll bow out in the semis. I'll say that.
That's interesting. Okay.
Moving forward, Rob, what do you think?
For Anaheim?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they'll be as dominant as they were this year. I think there's been too many minuses and not enough additions. But I don't know. I love John Gibson. And now that he's going to be starting, a majority of the games for them and really be able to see what this kid does, I think this guy's got the wherewithal to put a team on his shoulders. So I think they'll finish in the top 3 in the Pacific. Maybe I could see San Jose building off of their Cup Finals victory to really continue that momentum and take the Pacific. But I could see San Jose 1, Anaheim 2.
I'm going to say Anaheim winds up in 2. I think they wind up in second place in the Pacific this year.
Actually, I think they still take the division, but I mean, San Jose is a good team. Anaheim plays San Jose very well, and
True.
I think that's going to come down to it.
Okay.
Moving forward, we now go and we'll cover the Flyers now because just in case we run out of time, it's best we get to the Flyers now.
Sure.
So, last year the Flyers made it to the second wild card, barely, but they did. Do you think the Flyers will return to next year's Stanley Cup playoffs?
I do. I think they do.
There's no doubt about it that they're going to be in the playoffs. And the reason why I say that, not to cut you off, Brian, is that if they made it to the playoffs with the slop that they put on the ice during this season, and you bring up some of these kids like potentially, Konechny, Provorov, Travis Sanheim, Samuel Moran, you start to bring these guys up, you're just going to see the level of play continue to go up and up, man.
And it's not even just that. It's you got a full year under your belt with Dave Hextall. You know the system. You're comfortable with it now. Guys like Voracek, I'm sure, is going to come around. He's going to start scoring more. These guys are going to – it's going to go up, I think. And and you got to actually – the big thing for me is stop with the goaltending tandem. Pick one and use them. And I think that's part of the reason why Anaheim got rid of Anderson is they want Jonathan Gibson. They don't want to be playing this game.
Right.
That's going to be interesting moving forward. And the real question is going to be about Stolars. That's the real wild card factor that comes in with Philadelphia on that one. Will they get rid of somebody to bring Stolars up to be a backup at some point in time? Don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen this season. I would not be 1,000% surprised if that does happen.
I see Philadelphia making the playoffs, but I see them in the same boat again next year, out in the first round. I just don't think they're going to have enough experience as a whole team to really compete and really be a real contender, at least not with the roster they have at this moment in time.
That's a logical conclusion, but I'm going to argue with it because I really think these kids are pro-ready by the way that Hextall has been patient with them, really developing them in that maturation process that he so loves. And they're going to hit the ice and hit the ice skating instead of hitting the ground running. And I really predict that the latter half of the season, hanging in the playoffs, this team's going to get on a roll that this city has not seen in a long-ass time. And I think it doesn't only get them as a wild card. I think they're number 3 in the Metropolitan behind Washington and Pittsburgh.
I mean,
Wow. So then that means we bumped the New York Rangers out of
third
place.
Now, they still might get knocked out in the first round because of inexperience. That's where I agree with you.
And that's where I think my difference is with you. This team is obviously they're a playoff team. They're a good team. The young players, they're going to need a little bit of time to gel.
Yep.
So before they become a real true contender,
right.
I like the young talent they have.
Right.
They just need to play together. They need to get used to playing with each other. They need to get going. They need to play together.
I'm gonna have to. Damn, I hate doing this.
Damn.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. We have to think about a couple of things. There are 3 teams that are really getting better right now and are really starting to become something dangerous. One is the Montreal Canadiens are going to be back with a vengeance this year, and they're going to bump a team out of the Atlantic Division standings, which means that Detroit is going to most likely wind up down competing for the wild card.
Right.
With the signings they made this offseason, I think they're going to be competing for, I believe, that number 1, if not that number 3 spot in the division.
Meanwhile,
do any of those signings replace Pavel Datsyuk, though? That's the question that I have for the Detroit Red Wings.
Who did they sign? They signed Franz Nielsen, who's a good center.
Yeah.
And then they signed Thomas Vanek, who's a risk.
But all intents and purposes, if Montreal is on full head of steam, Detroit does get bumped at the end of the day.
Oh, agreed.
But with them competing in the wild card, also, let's not forget, the Devils are getting better. And the New Jersey Devils have signed a lot of players that could wind up getting that offense going, and that could become a problem.
Palmieri.
And then the final part, Buffalo. Let's not forget about the Sabres. They may be languishing right now, but all it takes is just one good hot streak Jack Eichel to be on fire,
Right.
Kyle Okposo to be on fire, and that team could be competitive as well.
And don't forget about their dark horse, Sam Reinhart.
Sam Reinhart as well. Yes.
Yeah, he got a lot of experience last year, and I really predict an even like a more successful sophomore year.
Now, those are the three teams that I really peg right now to be watchful of, because those three teams could very well make this a much more competitive series, and that's the scary part of it.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to add Toronto to that.
Toronto? Possibly.
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Can't
The Toronto
forget
Maple Leafs have a lot of potential on paper, because I haven't seen many of their young guys get a chance to play yet, but on paper, they have a very good roster. Their roster in where do the Marlies play? Do they still play in Toronto?
They still play in Toronto.
Okay, so this is Toronto Marlies. They competed very well for a Calder Cup. I think Lake Erie won it, but I think where did they finish? I believe they finished in the conference finals.
Who's Lake Erie?
Lake Erie
affiliated with?
was
I forget.
Columbus now, I believe.
Columbus Blue Jackets. Yep.
Sorry, I just thought that was funny. Anyway, moving
But
on.
anyway, they got themselves a very good goalie in Frederick Anderson.
Yeah.
He's obviously going to be the number one. He's going to play the bulk of the time. The offense has a lot of young talent on paper. Let's see how well they play together. And they have one of the best coaches in all of hockey with Mike Babcock,
Yeah.
and he works wonders with young talent.
Yes, he does. And
Yes, he does.
I'm a huge fan of William Nylander. I think he's going to be fantastic in this league.
And on top of it, Toronto acquired not only Max Domi, but Kirby Reichel.
That is right. They did get them as well.
This team is stacked with young talent. Let's see what they do.
Guess who's two players on the Vic Rattleheads? Max Domi and William Nylander.
Nice. But what I will say is, and that's the reason why.
Who won this year?
Not you.
Not you.
Not us.
And not you neither. We
That's
beat
fine.
you.
We got to represent as a show this season.
That's
no doubt
fine.
about it. We're
But
talking
anyway.
I was
we're
there.
talking
I won
fantasy
my
hockey,
division.
folks. Yes, you
But
did.
anyway, moving on.
Star
Okay.
City, baby.
So, what I will say is, and I'm going to say this, and you guys are going to kill me. I'm going to say the Flyers miss. And I'm going to
Miss the
say,
playoffs.
I'm going to say this. I think one of the younger teams sneaks in. I actually could very well see possibly Toronto, maybe even Buffalo, sneak into that wild card spot and oust either the Flyers or the Devils, who would be the two teams competing for that spot most likely.
Well, I see more the Devils competing for that spot with the Flyers. But I think it's going to be the Devils that wind up getting bumped, and it's going to be the Flyers. And honestly, I don't know why I believe this so much, but it's going to be Toronto.
Them sneaky pricks.
So then, but also, let's also not forget another team that's sitting down there, the Islanders.
Yeah.
No, I think the Islanders are competing for the division this year.
So you think
Yeah.
that,
I think they're going to win the
so
division.
you think the Rangers will be the one competing for the wild card, not the
I think it's going to be
Islanders.
the Islanders are going to take that top spot, and then it's going to be the Capitals very closely behind them, and then the Rangers, and then the Flyers in the wild card.
So Pittsburgh's competing for the wild card?
Yep.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. That's news. I did
Stanley
not
Cup
hear
letdown.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it makes some
you know what?
sense
It does
there.
make sense, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
make sense. And a lot of times sophomore slumps. Matt Murray, being his second year, might have one.
Well, let it be said, I'm high on expectations for the Philadelphia Flyers this year. I'm not saying like John Cena, your time is now. It's not now.
No, I got
but
you.
I just think they will be more competitive this year than they were last year.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that one. I'm just trying to keep
The other competition out there still bumps them out, even though they bumped.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm still very
Gotcha.
watchful of
Right.
what the other guys are doing because I'm not 100% safe with this setup right now. I hate this setup that they couldn't make this an Einstein project. They had to. Anyway, moving on. Well, actually, it's not too bad because if we had a division setup, the Flyers wouldn't even have made it last year. Anyway, moving on. So let's get into a commercial break. When we come back on the other side, we will start talking about the WWE, and we'll get into the draft. So don't go anywhere, folks. This was all brought to you by the BMW of Atlantic City, and that is they're challenging their sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get to, minutes off of exit 37 on the Parkway, online at bmwatlanticcity.com. We will see you guys after this.
your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
If you have an upcoming wedding, bar mitzvah, or high school graduation and you're in need of catering, well, contact Obie's Catering today. Chris O'Brien is changing the world one dish at a time. You can give him a call, 856-534-8410. Email him cateringbyobie, that's OBIE @yahoo.com. Or look him up on Facebook at Catering by Obie's. And if you tell him Tom Arnone or any of the boys from A2DRadio.com sent you, you get 20% off. If you want some fine catering, contact Obie's Catering today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Booyakasha! We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I love it.
And this is brought to you by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. They're located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030. Email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com. All right. Rob, I do believe it is time we go to our Twitter question and see what the results are.
Absolutely. Our Twitter question today was, should Ron Hextall be more active in the NHL free agency and trade market? With 68% of the vote, and got a lot of votes chiming in, a lot of active hockey fans during this free agency period, 68% say yes, he should be more active in this NHL free agency market. 32% say no. That kind of is indicative of what you were saying earlier, Maddie, that that Flyers fans are just used to these big signings and not, trusting the maturation of young youth talent. And, maybe they're a little rambunctious to get back to the promised land. I don't blame them. I'm there too. But I disagree with what the people said, but that is the people chiming in. And this Twitter poll is being brought to you by Harry's Contracting. For a professional home improvement, give Harry Ernst a call at 609-638-6336 or email Harry's Contracting Improvements @gmail.com.
I used to think we had such smart listeners.
Oh, well. You can't get them all, I guess.
No.
Can't win them all. But you know what? I will say this, though. I understand the desire to want to go back to the glory days. I mean, hell, it was only like a few days ago I was watching some Eric Lindros highlights. It brought a tear to my eye. Just like, oh, my God, this is never coming back. We're never going to be dominant ever again. We're never going to kick ass and take names like we used to back in the day.
Brought a tear to my eye, too. How did this guy get in the Hall of Fame?
There is 50.
You're still hung up on that. You are still hung up on that. It's been like 3 weeks, man. Calm down.
There is 50 minutes left to vote, people, so you can still redeem yourselves.
All right.
I will say this. I do love our listeners. Our listeners are awesome.
No doubt about it.
Don't worry. Glory days will come. They will come in Philadelphia. If it kills us, they will come. All right, moving on to the WWE. And I do believe we have somebody on the phone line. Do we not? I think we do, gentlemen.
We should.
And I do believe it is one Mr. Ryan Brodo of The Fix. And is he potted up?
He should be.
Unmuted?
Check it.
Yeah. Everything's unmuted. This one, right?
Yeah, that one should be it.
Well, I will say that he is the Nostradamus of the WWE, as he correctly predicted the end of last night's Raw. So,
hang on, we'll get him in a second.
Yeah,
just hold tight.
But I mean,
that's the other Ox.
Okay. All right. Well, everything's potted up.
Okay, so we're gonna have to take a. Well, hold on. We'll get Brian on the line in about 5 seconds. We just got to take a quick break for that phone line.
Well, let's give the listeners what we're going to be talking about. There's something going down tonight, so I hear.
There is, and it will be not only the very first live SmackDown in the history of SmackDown, it is also the night of the second WWE Draft.
I don't know how I feel about the draft, though.
Why?
I don't think it really worked the first time. But that's just me.
Well, the first time it was different. I mean, the first time WCW just closed down, ECW was gone, and you had all these wrestlers in WWE. You had too many mouths to feed, so naturally you split it in two, try and see what you can get out of it. I mean, I don't think it was too bad. I mean, you look at it a lot of superstars got a run that didn't necessarily would have had a run on a separate show, you know? I mean, you obviously had your big standout stars like your Rob Van Dams and your Edges and your Christians and all that. But I'm talking about like like wrestlers, like say Annunzio, a low-tier wrestler who would never be in a main event. He could at least have some kind of work of some kind on SmackDown in the Cruiserweight division, you know?
True, and apparently they're bringing that back too.
Which is good. That's good to hear. So I do believe Brodo's on the phone line. Mr. Brodo, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you guys. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we can hear Ryan
Here we
now.
are. Welcome.
Oh, you found me. You got me.
Oh, yes.
Thought you could hide.
Just playing hide and seek on the phone.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So what's going on, guys?
Well, we're
some WWE, I hear.
Yeah, we're talking about the draft, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I can't wait to see. And I got to know, Brodo, who do you think is going to be like the big grab for SmackDown and Raw?
Well, should I go about it the way I think it's going to happen or what I wish would happen? Because those things are two completely different things.
Go with what wish will happen. You could say what you thought was going to happen on the Fix tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, I like that. Well, what I wish is going to happen, I want Raw's number one pick to be Samoa Joe. I think he should be the number one pick. I know Finn Balor, is the guy, I think, in NXT. But personally, I think Samoa Joe is the better pick. And I think it's a smart opportunity by WWE to pick somebody from NXT because it makes not only that superstar look more legitimate, but it makes that brand, the whole brand of NXT, look like the real deal, even though it is the real deal already. But yeah, Samoa Joe, I think, should be the pick for Raw. I mean, they could pick him for SmackDown, but I think he fits more with Raw.
I agree with you totally, Ryan, because think about Samoa Joe's experience
years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago, because guess who else they should have signed? They could have signed Christopher Daniels, and they could have had their own version of the Unbreakable Three-Way, WWE style. Now, don't get me wrong, TNA did a great job of that back in the day when they were legitimate. But imagine WWE putting them in a ladder match or putting them in some kind of Hell in a Cell match. That would be exciting. I would love to see that. The Unbreakable Three-Way in a Hell in a Cell. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. And then the thing that a lot of people don't realize about Samoa Joe, he's been wrestling longer than John Cena. Yep. So he's definitely, like Rob said, he's a veteran. He is no rookie by any standards, and he can literally do anything when it comes to being a character. He's been a baby face, and he's been phenomenal. He's been a heel, and he's been phenomenal. He's one of the best wrestlers still in the world, in my opinion. I mean, somebody that size, that can do anything in the ring is beyond me. I mean, whenever I watch him in the ring, I'm thinking, how is this guy still doing this? Because, like I said, he's been doing this for quite a while. And anytime you could put him in any storyline, any situation, and it will be gold. It will make so much money. And if they could possibly find a way to make a WrestleMania match out of Cena versus Samoa Joe, or even Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar, I might go through my ceiling in excitement.
Oh, that would be just great. As long as Joe goes over, that's the important thing. Joe has to go over in that scenario.
Exactly. So any opportunity with Samoa Joe for either brand works, but you need to pick him in this draft because I don't see – I mean, Kevin Owens came up and did the whole thing with Cena while he was still NXT champion. So it's not out of the question that he can come up without dropping the belt. And then plus they're trying to move on. I think they're trying to get Nakamura into like the face of NXT. So you have Samoa Joe come up tonight, and then Nakamura wins the belt in a couple weeks at the next NXT Takeover event, and then Samoa Joe is your guy on the main roster.
That's awesome. I love Nakamura. He's so cool. That would be awesome.
Now, Ryan, I got a pretty good question for you. Are you worried about with this draft that tag teams like Enzo Amore and Big Cass, or even the New Day, who are two of the most popular tag teams in the WWE right now, are you worried about any of those guys getting broken up?
See, it's interesting. I don't see it go either way with me. I think the New Day has become a little stale, and especially because I can see how they're reacting. You know, the fans are reacting in the arenas. They're definitely not as hot as they once were. I don't see a reason to keep them together, truthfully, because I've been saying this for day one, that Big E, or Big E Langston, whatever you want to call him, he has like 45 names now. He's a future star. I mean, he could be like a Samoa Joe. I mean, he's funny, and he could play either roles. We've seen him do that either way. And I think the whole direction they're going with the Wyatt family, how Xavier Woods is kind of acting a little weird, and I don't know. I see a possibility where he will be. I think they're going to be broken up. And then Enzo and Cass is another interesting scenario because they love Colin Cassidy. They love Big Cass. I mean, when Enzo Amore was injured and Colin Cassidy had to be on his own for a little bit, they loved him. They absolutely loved him. So I feel bad for Enzo Amore because if they split up, Enzo has nothing to do, and then he becomes a jobber. But I would keep them together. And then the other interesting thing, real quick, with as far as tag teams, I looked before I came on the call. I looked at the website, and they don't have the Wyatts or the Lucha Dragons listed as a tag team. They have them all as singles competitors. So that means, in my opinion anyway, that 100% the Wyatt family is going to be split up. 100%.
Okay.
All right. Now, one couple quick questions I want to ask. First thing is the GM choices. Now, what one do you think won in the GM? Did Stephanie win with Mick Foley, or did Shane win with Daniel Bryan?
See, it's depending on who you talk to, because you could say, Mick Foley was one of the big guys in the Attitude Era, or do you want to go with, the guy the last, 3-4 years in Daniel Bryan? I know it's not the popular pick, but I love the Mick Foley deal. I love it because, one, it was more surprising to me than the Daniel Bryan, GM deal. But I think Mick Foley is going to do something that we haven't seen in a little bit, and that's be a face that is not going to be an annoying authority figure for Raw. And I'm hoping, I was texting Mike of AM to PM last night, and I said, I really hope they don't swerve us in a couple weeks and they have Triple H attack Foley and have him as the authority figure. But I'm more excited for Mick Foley than Daniel Bryan. But I love the Daniel Bryan pick. I think that's phenomenal, especially for SmackDown.
Yeah, and now the final question I want to say before we wrap this up is, what show do you think will most likely win the first ratings?
SmackDown.
SmackDown? Okay.
Yep.
That's interesting. I like that. I like that idea. Go with SmackDown. Not Raw. That's it. Raw's won enough. Let SmackDown win something for once. Damn it.
I mean, because Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, and then whoever they end up getting. So, yeah 100% SmackDown.
All right, then. All right, well, that will pretty much do it for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour and our WWE Draft Talk. Want to thank Mr. Ryan Brodo from The Fix for joining us.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good, guys.
Yeah, all right. And that will do it for this edition. This was all brought to you by BMW of Atlantic City. They are easy to get to. They are minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway. Have you ever wanted the ultimate driving experience? Well, they're located at 6037 Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. You give them a call at 609-568-9200. Get a 320i with X Drive for just $299 a month. BMW of Atlantic City. This has been the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com from Matt Sasuti, Brian Daly, and Rob Popovia. We will see you guys next week on A2DRadio.com.
Bada boom.